and welcome to Of Dice and Men. We are a Dungeons & Dragons podcast consisting of 5 players. My name is Marcus, and I play Metallica, the Tabaxi Barbarian. We also have Caitlin, playing Jaden Brenner, the Human Rogue, Dan, playing Taffy, the Grung Pugilist, Joseph, playing Fenric, the Furbolg Cleric, and our Dungeon Master, Corin. We are currently 13 sessions into our campaign, and so this is the prologue to get you caught up with the story so far. Our party started the campaign already formed, and I would like to add that I will be mentioning Ignatius Pike, played by Elias, who has since left the group. I will be reading from the notes taken every session by Dan. So without further ado, let's begin. Session 1. Robert Strong, that's the name of our group that we thought up with right at the beginning. Robert Strong arrived in Drautania for the Sun Festival. We participated in various festivities, archery, cup guessing, drinking, arm wrestling, etc. We watched the Lord's speech and the Bloody Hands presentation. We learned of the Bloody Hands' endeavour to train citizens in martial skills to defend themselves and their nation. Finally, we took to the sewers on the sheriff's request to slay a giant horse-sized rat. And that was Session 1. Session 2. Robert Strong fulfilled the sheriff's request in slaying the mutant rat. We spent the morning recovering and gathering general supplies. Ilda Melbrook of the Bloody Hands led us to their hideout outside of Drautania. We briefly negotiated terms of a potential mission, but words were cut short when Turlock and Metallica. That's another thing. Dan originally played a tiefling gunslinger called Turlock. Forgot to add that at the beginning. Sorry about that. When Turlock and Metallica suspected their food and drink were poisoned, Robert Strong defended themselves against their new adversaries, dispatching of the Bloody Hand members in the cavern. After a breather, Jaden noticed a peculiarity on the east wall, and Turlock discovered a torch sconce lever, which opened up a secret stairwell. And that was Session 2. Session 3. We just noticed dazed-looking people sitting at the tables. Robert Strong headed down the secret passage into an open chamber with many caged townspeople from Drautania. We took care of all the cultists and freed the citizens. The big bloody hand guy with the wand had an important note. Robert Strong sent word to the sheriff and returned to the citizens of Drautania to be questioned and their wounds attended to. Robert Strong, the sheriff, and Joseph the wizard discussed the Bloody Hands' actions and noted their influence in Aquilon and Elkwall. After Metalli ran off, the remaining group members made plans to travel to Aquilon in 2 days with Philip. Philip was a travelling merchant that we... I can't remember where we met him, but yeah, he was a merchant that we met in Drautania. A tavern patron tells the group about the Monster Ship, a travelling group who challenges groups to a gladiator-style arena versus various creatures. Robert Strong, minus Metalli. Metalli wasn't there because I had to leave the session early. So Corin wrote in a particular reason why Metalli wasn't there. And so yeah, that's why Metalli's not there. Robert Strong minus Metalli enter the monster ship. Robert Strong slayed 2 giant toads and 1 basker, becoming monster ship champions. And that was Session 3. Session 4. Robert Strong heads out of Drautania with Philip's cart heading towards Aquilon. We stop at the farmer's market to purchase some produce. Along the road, we stumbled into a couple of bears forced by goblins to attack our group. Robert Strong took care of the goblins and let the bears pass. We decide to split off from Philip's group to head to Aquilon on our own, as not to waste time when the Bloody Hand may be up to no good. The sheriff in Aquilon informed Robert Strong that the Bloody Hand hideout, 30 minutes southeast of Aquilon, that there was a Bloody Hand hideout 30 minutes southeast of Aquilon. He also noted sending men to Elkwall to check up on the Bloody Hand movement in that area. When Philip arrives at Aquilon, he informs us he discovered a cavern which may be the Goblin Lair. And that was session 4. Session 5, not a lot of notes for this one. It's probably a bit of a downtime. Robert Strong set off in the morning with Philip to explore the supposed Goblin Lair. We cleared a few rooms, argued about a chest, and shared personal secrets. And that was session 5. Session 6, Robert Strong and Philip cleared the big orc boss. We split up the treasure and hit the bathhouse, minus Jaden, to rest up and chat. Level 4. The group spends the morning buying and selling with their newfound riches. Then days 7 to 11 by this point, resting in Aquilon, training, crafting, gossiping, etc. Troops in Elkwall report something off there. Intermission, we were... I can't remember exactly, but I think this... Oh no. No, sorry, we'll get to that later. Sorry about that. Day 12. Session 7. Robert Strong headed out from Aquilon through the Swamp Road to Lowwatch. Along the way, there was much inter-party conflict. Ogres philosophical debating. Robert Strong arrived in Lowwatch and spent the night in the inn. And that was session 7. Session 8. Robert Strong spent a few hours gearing up to face the wormlings pestering Lowwatch. Metallica confessed his brief criminal history to the party. Despite the party's conflict, they faced the wormlings in their cave. Turlock caught Ignatius in the spray of Eleanor, which was Turlock's kind of like, I think it was his blunderbuss, something like that, I guess, which brought the rivalry to a head. But for a couple of sessions beforehand, there had been quite a bit of tension between Ignatius and Turlock. And so, yeah, this is where the rivalry came to a head. And the two fought until Turlock was left unconscious. Iggy tied him up, took his firearms, and left Turlock behind. Metalli and Jaden decided to leave Turlock behind, part ways with Ignatius, and move forward as a duo. And that's not the last we hear of Ignatius. He does come back for another session. And then we have another intermission where Dan DM'd a one-shot. That was very fun, but nothing to do with this campaign. Session 9, Robert Strong made cautious amends. This is where Ignatius comes back. And Metalli, Jaden, and Ignatius and their newfound friend Taffy prepare for their next quest in Elkwall. Or do we? And that was, I believe, the last we hear of Ignatius and when Elias left the group. Bitch Lasagna, which is what we named ourselves very briefly after Elias left, because we'd called ourselves Robert Strong because that was the name of Ignatius's donkey. It's just a bit of an inside joke. But yeah, Bitch Lasagna made their way to the Grand Library at the behest of Lord Peldamar in Elkwall to investigate the Bloody Hands cult. We delved into the depths of the library after being ambushed by some cult members under a charm spell. Further inside, after many combat encounters, was a chamber containing a spectator, the creature controlling the cultists. The spectator was slain and the citizens rescued from the spell. As a reward, the local lord bestowed 1,500 gold and the deed to a house in the northern district of Elkwall. The group named themselves Legacy. Dan came up with that, and I love the name Legacy. I think it's brilliant. Session 11. Days 41 to 43 by this point. I forgot to mention, after Dan's one shot, approximately 1 month passed in game. So session 11 is now starts from day 41. From day 41 to 43, Legacy shopped around Elkwall. Day 44, Legacy bids farewell to Philip. We met Guvla, the rock-throwing giant who mentioned the war between giants and dragons ongoing for 1,800 years. The giant king, oDaM, disappeared 1,000 years ago, forcing them back into the mountains. They are seeking to rebuild Dragon Reaver, an epic weapon they can use to launch a counterattack against the dragons. A piece of Dragon Reaver was lost in the swamp area nearby Lowwatch, a place with many steam vents utilised by the fire giants for smithing in years past. The current king rules tyrannically, even slaying his own people to retrieve the pieces of Dragon Reaver. The Hill Giants informed Legacy of the hierarchy of giants and how the Hill Giants are only the first wave of assault until Dragon Reaver can be reforged. Legacy plans to infiltrate the Grey Mountains to retrieve the pommel of Dragon Reaver. In order to enter the mountains, we must find Hashdar. Then we seek the rumoured gold dragon's aid. There's a gold dragon that we'd heard rumours of coming from the south, heading north in our kind of general direction. In the meantime, Taffy sets up a soup kitchen for those affected by the recent giant attack on Elkwall. Session 12. Taffy hired some landscapers to put a pool in the backyard of the Legacy soup kitchen. Legacy recruited the help of Fenric the Furbolg to help lead them into the Grey Mountains. On the way, the party encountered a small group of young bandits attempting to hold us up. However, we were all ambushed by a band of gnolls. Legacy dispatched the gnolls with minor difficulties and continued north. Gildrian is the nice gold dragon who supports our endeavour to thwart the evil giant king. He told us Zedrun is the black dragon that destroyed Lowwatch. When Ignatius came back for that one session, the story was he came back. Him and Taffy came back. Taffy was a survivor of a dragon attack on Lowwatch, and Lowwatch had just been completely devastated. So that was that. Where did I get up to? He told us Zedrun is the black dragon that destroyed Lowwatch. Finally, Legacy arrived at a dilapidated hut whilst being pursued by additional gnolls, and this was a large group of gnolls. And then our last session, session 13, the Tabaxi woman who was stood outside the dilapidated hut explained we had arrived at the Wilderwood, a grand lounge invisible to those who do not pay to enter. The Wilderwood is home to various exotic races: Tabaxi, Hill Giants, Centaur, and others. Each member of Legacy dreamt similar dreams that night, all feelings as if they had needed something in the lounge. We met some Tabaxi called Trello and Freema, some Hill Giants called Gregor and Silmore, and a Loxodon called Yarald. Everyone who ended up at the Wilderwood was running away from something dangerous. We were sent out of the Wilderwood when we raised suspicion of foul play, and were dropped right into a tribe of gnolls, the ones who had been chasing us. It turned out whilst we were at the Wilderwood and this grand lounge, time was moving differently to normal, and so the feeling I got was that we were dropped out immediately after we entered, but I don't think that was the case. I think we'd actually maybe a week or so had passed outside of the Wilderwood. Sorry, lost my place again. Fair play. Dropped right into a tribe of gnolls. Gildrian rescued us from the gnolls, but during the one day we spent there, approximately 1 week passed for the rest of the world. Legacy bumped into a man called Pencildor, hiding in a bush. Pencildor brought us to the camp of survivors from Mound's Edge after the recent giant attack. And that's where the notes of the campaign so far end. They're not detailed notes. They don't really need to be. But I hope that's caught you up. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in episode 1. Take it easy.